Welcome to the Reed and Christine Halliday Lecture Series here at the Woodbury School of Business. I'm Dr. Eugene Seeley, the Associate Dean here at the Woodbury School of Business. Our executive lecture today is Wendel Burt. Wendel Burt is president and partner of Burt Brothers Tires and Service. He was born in Spokane, Washington, served an LDS mission in Camorra, New York, and the Rochester mission under President and Sister Sidaway, who are here with us today. As well, he is married to the love of his life and his better half, Debbie Burt. They have one daughter and three sons, Jake, Jenica, Jeremy, and Jason. They also are the proud grandparents of 8 grandchildren and 1 on the way. Wendel and his brother Ron Burt started Burt Brothers in July of 1991. They currently have 7 stores along the Wasatch Front, including stores in Farmington, Bountiful, Sugar House, Jeremy Ranch, Park City, Cottonwood, and Sandy. They also have just recently signed a letter of intent on their 8th store that will be their stepping stone into Utah County. Wendel has served on several boards for major tire companies and currently serves on the dealer board at Goodyear Tire. Wendel's best traits are his make-it-happen attitude and his tireless work effort. No pun intended, they have lots of tires. Please join me in welcoming Wendel Burt.
Well, that was very, very nice. Thanks, Eugene. What a wonderful university facility here. I couldn't believe all the things that I found out as I got my introduction here. The largest university here in the state of Utah. Wonderful. You've got so many accolades with the business college and everything going right down to a undefeated football team. So that is awesome. You guys are great, and I support you 100% in all of your efforts. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to be here and just share some thoughts with you. I hope what I have to say will be very enlightening for you in the business world. And as you mentioned there, I was born in Spokane, Washington, but when I was just a young man, between my 8th and 9th year, actually, we moved to Salt Lake, and so this has been home to us ever since. But when I got the phone call from Randy Beckham to come down and speak, I thought to myself, what could a person that is 2/4 shy of finishing his first year of college be able to say that would be enlightening or enlifting to you group of young people ready to graduate and move out there with your careers? So I hope that maybe just telling my story, you'll be able to figure it out, but I wouldn't recommend in this day and age my career path by any means. So let me just say that my early beginning started back 35 years ago. Me and my lovely wife Debbie, I might say that I'm still on my first wife, however I don't have my first car. But 35 years ago, I was a student at the University of Utah. And it was a crazy time in my life. We had one child on the way, and I had just enrolled myself there. I'd come home off my LDS mission and trying to figure out where I was going to go with my life. And I was there, and I saw that they were having a career fair, and I thought, well, I'll just ask my professor if I can go to this just to see how this would go. And I saw there that they had a fellow there from Goodyear Tire and Rubber, but while I was there, going through this major turmoil in my mind, trying to figure out my life path, I had to ask myself this question. That's where I was, right there. Young man, what do you want to do with your life? And I'll tell you what, my claim to fame basically, I think at that time, was I got accepted to BYU, but I couldn't afford to go there. And so I was at University of Utah. So anyway, I went into meet with this fellow from Goodyear Tire and just said, I'm just new here. I'm not graduating by any means. What's the thing? And I had a friend that actually worked for Goodyear that I knew of. And so we sat down and chatted, and literally one thing led to another, and I actually got a job with Goodyear Tire and Rubber. So, and he said, well, I said, what skills you have? I says, well, I'm actually kind of a mechanic by trade, and I know cars pretty well, and I'd be happy to learn anything that you have. So I actually started out with Goodyear as a mechanic, and I got some certifications in brakes, all the lubrication, of course, all the tire changing, and I was on my way to alignments and a few other things. And I found out that I had a fairly good knack and ability to talk to customers. And so I got in there and just worked up the ladder there, assistant manager, and then right then Goodyear actually sold all of their stores, the company stores that I was working for. So then I was at another crossroads. And so I went to work for an independent, and this is when my brother Ron joined me working there with us for an independent. And we decided, after working there with some independents, that we could actually do this on our own. And why I say up on the slide here to accept a friend request from a banker, that's your terminology today to accept a friend and things, but a good banker is everything to us. And so what we did there was we got a loan with the SBA and started up our own store. And this was our first ad that was in the newspaper there to show what we were doing. And we were so cool, we thought that we even printed our own money. As you can see there at the end, the store wasn't open yet, but we ran these ads. We wanted people to save these, what we called Burt Bucks, and that they could use when we did open to come on in and use them for services. And so it was kind of fun at that time. And so what I wanted to do today is sum up what I think could be maybe our 5 points of success and limit it to that, and just talk about those briefly, and try to leave it open at the end for some questions and answers. So, so this was back in 1991 that we started that store, and I might say that when you start up a store from scratch and you're going with the SBA, the bankers, and this is why you need to make good friends with your bankers, is they want everything, and I mean everything, as collateral. And I might add that except for your children. But they will take everything as collateral. And so me and my brother both had to put liens against our houses. Everything we owned, every vehicle, anything that they could attach to give us the loan with the SBA to get our business started. And so that's kind of the situation that you're in getting started. We're taking major risks. Everything is on the hawk. And that first loan was for 20 years. And I said to him, I said, when do you think we could get our houses off of this lien? Because, he says, well, we'll take a review on it in 10 years, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, well, we'll just have to make this happen. And in about 5 years, I talked him into a review. And we didn't have the loan paid down far enough. We hadn't missed a payment, but we weren't able to get it done in 5 years. But we were able to get it done through our relationships with the banks, and the bankers in particular that worked with us, to get our houses removed in 7 years. And kind of a funny story. I got the notification that we were getting our homes released off our loan, and it was just wonderful. And they said, we'll send you, a letter and everything. And one day I'm at work, working in our Bountiful store, and phone rings, and it's my wife. Honey, I just signed a certified letter, and I opened it up, and somebody put a lien against our house. And I says, really? Read it to me. I hereby release the lien of your house at our address. I says, honey, release the lien. And she says, you mean we had a lien against our house? And I says, yeah, don't you remember all those papers we signed 7 years ago? She goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. Oh my gosh. So now we don't have a lien? Yes. Oh my gosh. So, I says, those are the reasons why you shove me out the door every day to work at 6 in the morning. And I might say that she's just been a wonderful support over all the years. just sending me out the door and making it happen for me. So how did we get to where we are today? The first point I wanted to make is the customer is always the customer. And that seems pretty trite and pretty plain, but you might hear that the customer is always right. And we believe that too at Burt Brothers. But I want to just kind of start off a little sales rally with you that we do in our own business. It's not really a sales rally, more of a sales meeting. But I want you to yell no at the right time, and we'll go through this. This is how we would start one of our meetings. I'll make a statement, you just all yell no. Is the customer always right? No. But the customer is always the customer. Okay, so all the way through. Is the customer always right? No. But the customer is always the customer. Okay, and why we joke around with that by saying the customer isn't always right. Let me just cite an example. And in fact, this happened at the store that Randy Beckham happened to be a customer of. Well, customer comes in and gives us the year, make, and model. They want to get some things done on their car, maintenance. Their van's over 100,000 miles. They want to get the spark plugs changed, fuel filter, and oil change, a few things like that, maintenance-wise done on it for upcoming vacations and things. And they give us the year of the vehicle. We pull it in, everything's routine, change the oil, get it going. Well, right at about the time our technician is going to start installing the spark plugs, he's got the other ones out, he gets a major appendix attack to the point where it nearly burst. And the story we were told by the hospital and him later was it burst right there in the hands of the doctor when he's getting an emergency appendectomy. But in an effort to try to keep business going and the flow of things, we had to bring another technician in, which is there in the store to finish up his work and try to get it all done. So by the end of the day, he got over there to finish up the job there. So we put the spark plugs in and everything was going fine. And then of course you do that magical start the engine and all heck broke loose. And then the engine just shuts down. Oh my goodness, so it doesn't sound good. What in the heck happened? Pull out a spark plug. It's broke off. When the spark plug's got this long of threads on it and half of it's broke off, the other half's down inside the motor. Pulled out all the spark plugs. Every one of them are broke off. It's like, oh no, we tried to start the engine, things like that. We just did all the damage internally to this motor. We start looking around trying to figure out what in the heck could have gone wrong. Well, the year of the vehicle that we were given was 1 year off. And the spark plugs we took out just had a short throw on them. And the ones we put back in were a year different and had a longer throw on them. So they went too far down into the cylinder walls, and the pistons, as they went up, broke off the spark plugs in the engine. So now we were sitting there with an engine that was completely useless. So first thought I had is, well, let's call our insurance and see how we can handle this. Quick call to the insurance agent, and they says, well, the engine's got, this is how we do this, the engine's got, it's half of its life, you figured a couple $100,000, so we'll prorate it for you, whatever way you want to go. We'll just charge you, half, we'll get you into a new motor that way, or we can find a used motor out of a wrecking yard, believe it or not, as they're telling us, you can put in there and get the customer going with $120,000 or less on it based on what he's already got in his vehicle. I looked at my brother and I said, which one of us, who wants to make that call to this customer? And neither one of us did. So we sat there and thought, well, what's the best way to do this? And we decided, call our insurance back and says, well, why don't you look and do your research, pay us whatever you'll pay us, and we'll just take care of it another way. So we called up the customer and said what had happened, and he himself felt bad, but it was our bad. We always had a system in place, and the mechanic, if he hadn't had the appendectomy, would have picked up on it because everything's matched up. But we always check the VIN number, check things out, but all those checks in place, just a weird alignment of everything. And so we just called the customer and says, hey, here's what's happened, and we got a rental car for you, and we towed your vehicle we're towing it down to Larry Miller Chevrolet right now, and they're putting in a new motor for you. And, that's how we build customers and keep them coming in for life. And so that's how we try to tell all of our employees that our customers have our paycheck in their wallets. And we have to make them feel good about spending money with us, and so that we can keep that cycle going around. So the customer is always the customer. And if you might ask yourself this question too, and I tell this to all of our employees, and where will we be living without our customers? You'll be eating a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river. And it was great. Back in those days, I used to love getting laughs from Chris Farley. Okay, whoops. Okay, so number 2, advertising is a must-buy stock pick. And what I mean by that is when you set up a business, you've got to understand that. Now, when you take a look at a balance sheet or profit or loss statement, advertising is always on the expense side of things. And it is an expense, obviously, in a lot of respects, but advertising is an investment. Like a farmer who milks a cow, you can't get milk out of that cow every day unless you feed it. And in our business here, it's a lot the same. 5% of our gross sales needs to be allocated towards advertising to promote yourself. And you have to be able to compete. Here we are, 7 stores, competing against chain stores that have 27 stores. All your Costco's, Big Zeros, or that's Tire Talk, Big O's. You've got Discount Tire, all of those good competitors out there. And we have 7 stores. How are we going to get our message heard? You have to invest in advertising to get your message out there. So advertising is a must-buy stock pick. It's not, you have to keep it in line with your gross sales, but you have to invest in that. And when you look at advertising as strictly an expense and I don't want to spend anything, I don't want anything, you'll think small and grow little. And also, like you say, what it does, it brings you up to top of mind awareness, whether it be print, radio, TV, social media, Facebook, and those kinds of things. But I want to say before I move on this, never underestimate the value of word-of-mouth advertising. The customer that I first mentioned, that comes back to bless you later on with more business when they know that you have their back when something does go wrong. But when we first got into business back in 1991, in our first store, we had just barely closed on the phone book. Back then, we weren't that proud of ourselves, but we had our pictures in our yellow page advertising. We were there in the Davis County book. And I don't know how many of you have seen this, the car printing book in the Davis County area, but it's like gospel up there. It's a real well-used book still to this day. A little yellow page phone book, and it's white pages and everything combined in that. But anyway, we had our pictures in there, and we were leaving that establishment to go on to our own. And so I called the car printing there, and I said, hey, we're moving on, and I know the deadline's passed, but is there a way that we could get a new ad for our new store? Because we'll be opened up right shortly there after the book comes out. So we'd like to have an ad in the new book, and you might want to get a hold of the other owners here and have them change our ad because we're not there, and we didn't want our picture in there. And so he said, oh, hey, that's great. I'm sure we can make that exception. I'll get back to you in a couple of days. Well, 3 or 4 days goes by, I never heard anything. I thought, wow. So I called him and I said, where are we at on this? He goes, oh, I got some bad news for you. He said, call the owner of the establishment you're working for, and he doesn't want to take your pictures out of the thing. He just wants to leave it in there. I go, really? That's kind of weird. And he goes, yeah, and he kind of threatened us that the deadline's passed and he didn't want us to get an ad for you guys in the new book. I go, really? So we're going to kind of go this first year without even an ad in the book? He goes, yeah. I'm sorry, I can't. It's got a real short conversation. We went from a hero to a zero just in just a few days there with these guys. And I said, well, okay, we'll just have to tough it out. Well, we got going in our new store, And again, this is right there in the 1991 time frame. And people were finding out about us left and right. And they were calling the oldest place, and they said, hey, is Wendel or Ron there? And no, they're not here today and stuff. And well, one guy found us, and he saw our ad and things, and the word was traveling, we were there. And he said, I can't believe it. He called me on the phone. He was so excited. We were so excited to make the connection again. And I said to him, I said, well, I'm coming down. Can I get an oil change? I said, oh, yeah, come on right down. And I says, hey, I tell you what, rip that ad out of your phone book. Bring it down to me. I'll do your oil change for $10. He ripped the ad out of his phone book, came right down, did the oil change for $10, and he goes, that was so great. It's so good to see you guys. I mean, seriously, we give each other hugs. We were so excited to see this great customer. And he goes, hey, do you mind if I tell my brother he's on the Rotary Club and tell my sister, you know, she's real estate here in the area, and my other family members, can I tell them about this deal? This is so neat. And I said, yeah, tell them. It's no problem. Well, I'll tell you what, in 3 months' time, I don't think you could find a phone book in Davis County that had that page in it. We were bombarded with those pages to the point where we actually got a call from the car directory, and they said, what are you guys doing down there? We have people calling up asking for more directories, and right in front of us, they're ripping a page out and dropping it in the garbage can as they walk out the door. What are you guys doing? Can you stop doing that? He says, you know, we can't stop this. We started it innocently with this thing, and so we can't even stop this. And so the next year, you know, we've sensed some retaliation. So when they came to us, I said, I can get in your book on one condition, that our ad is on the back page of our other place, so that they wouldn't try to rip our ad out and do it the same to them. So it was pretty amazing. But anyway, so we're moving here along here. There we go. Okay, back to that right there. Now I'm not advancing there, guys. There we go. So from here, we started to, the next one I want to talk about is building your brand. We started to, these are some of our ads that we started to go through. There's some of our stuff right there. And as you can see, we were going around. We see our logo up here on the top left-hand side. Then we switched over to, we didn't have a logo at first, Burt Brothers Tire. And then we said, well, okay, then the next ad, Burt Brothers Tires up there like this. It was all whatever art department I could come up with anybody. Then we changed it up a little bit. Color came to the picture, Burt Brothers Tires. And we said, well, we're complete auto service. And then somebody said, Utah's most trusted name in tires, put your website up there. We were just all over the place trying to figure out who we were and what we were. And I decided at that time to go out and get some outside help, because this is where my knowledge was taking me on trying to figure things out. So I went to KSL and I said, would you guys be interested in helping me with a focus group and figure things out so that I could come up with a marketing plan as we move forward, so I can compete in this market that we're in. We're getting a few more stores, and we need to figure out how we could compete. And so they said, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to get, people didn't even know, like I'd listen to them answer the phone. They'd say, could you come down and get me? I'm down here they'd look around, I'm down here at Goodyear, Bridgestone, we're Burt Brothers, you know. And then finally I started hearing more, I'm down here at Burt Brothers and stuff. So we started to go with, so our new focus became Burt Brothers, and then a smaller tire and service that way. And this is when they said to us, we need to go to market with a tagline, and we need to go to market with a jingle, and you need to have a statement that you say. And the statement that we say is, we guarantee your best price on tires, or your tires are free. And the fine print on that is your best overall advertised package price, so your tires are free. And we have yet to give away a set of tires, and we sell and service all the brands of tires. Now, we came up with this focus group, and out of the focus group, only one person on the focus group was a woman in there that was our customer. The rest of the people in the valley were not our customers, and we told them that we wanted at least one of our customers in there. And so we were looking for the tagline, listening to what they said. I was behind some two-way glass, listening to what people say and where they do business. They didn't know that it was Burt Brothers at that time putting on this focus group. And they were just saying where they go to get their service and what they do. And then finally it came out that they said this is put on by Burt Brothers. And the lady said, oh, that's where I go. And then they focused right on her. And they said, where do you go? Why do you go to Burt Brothers? And she says, well, we've been to so many other different places, but Burt Brothers just does it better. And I go, that's it. Burt Brothers does it better, because it just said to me what we were trying to get accomplished. We were just trying to get that. We were trying to do it better. It said enough to me for that. And out of that came the making of our jingle. And I called up through an acquaintance of mine, a fellow that was in Salt Lake and had gone to Nashville. He's still there now. His name's Richard Chisholm. I called Richard on the phone. I says, hey, Rich, can you help me out with the jingle? He goes, what's your tagline? He knew right away. I says, it's Burt Brothers does it better. He says, give me a couple weeks, let me see what I can do. So going back and forth, he came up with our jingle. Now, up here in this box to the side of me, I got some Burt Brothers hoodies. So this is where we get the, who knows our jingle and who wants to sing it? I think I saw your hand here first. Okay, go ahead.
Burt Brothers does it better.
That's good enough right there. That's good enough. What size are you?
Largish.
Okay. Look, I'll have my wife right here, Debbie, dig you one out. Come on down. Okay. All right, so moving right along here, I see that. So my next slide is let your moral compass be your guide. And so whatever business you're in, do what's right. Integrity is king. Don't upsell just to upsell. Don't sell somebody something that they don't need or isn't the best thing for their business. Whatever business you go in, do what's right for them, and you'll always have customers. If you have a problem of any type, make it right. In our business, a jack handle falls over and dents a car, call the customer. Say, hey Bob, we have a little problem today. One of our fellows bumped the jack handle, it went over and dented your car. We're going to take care of it, and we work out the details and get it handled, everything all the way down to the end of the line. You do not have anything without your customers. Okay. And number 5, and apologize for the audio-visual department here, but number 5 is do it better all around. And so we started a mission statement actually just a couple of years ago. Our mission statement was always make it happen and do the right by the customer, but we decided to put it down in writing, and it's in our stores all around. And then in doing it better all around is making your stores top-notch, everything clean, perfected, the people trained, everyone looking sharp every day. But our mission statement is, our mission is to do it better by providing the best tires, automotive service, and repair in the industry through our commitment to quality, service, and professionalism. We pledge honesty, integrity, and an overall experience that earns your loyalty and trust. So going back, so there we are right there. So there we are, thank you very much up there, appreciate that. So one of the seminars we went to, they said, we went to one seminar and they said, tell everybody to smile all the time. You can tell anybody anything you want when you're smiling. So we had that going. The next thing, we went to a seminar and they said, engage your employees, help get their input, get their buy-in. So I came back and I started this, and my brother took part of it, and we said, so I called in the first mechanic and I said, John, we want to start this thing. We want to hear from our employees and just tell me how it's going. And we kind of awkward there, get it going a little bit in a conversation. I says, tell me how you see our business right here. And he goes, well, he says, it's kind of like we're a tree full of monkeys. And I says, really? He goes, yeah, you and your brother, Ron, are up there at the top of the tree. You're looking down at us, and you see our smiling faces, looking back up at you and everything. But he says, but from where we sit, this is what we see. I says, oh, wow. So we need to change some of our tactics, don't we? And you know what? We started a best practices program. And I hope we have, I think I'll just get right into this right now. We started a best practice program, and to illustrate this, when you all came in today, you got 2 pieces of paper. So quickly, take out one of those pieces of paper, hopefully not wrinkled up, and I want you to make your best paper airplane. And when you're done making that paper airplane, write your name on it, and then hang on to it. And I'll tell you, so I'll give you a minute or so here to make a paper airplane. So when you're asked today, well, how was school? Just say, oh, some guy from a tire store came in and showed us how to make paper airplanes. So make that up, and let's see how good you guys are at making paper airplanes. Okay, we ready to let them fly? Okay, everybody get their name on them, and stand up when you're ready here. And what I want you to do is just all aim them at the screen, and I stand up and let them fly. Let's see how good we do. Okay. Can any of them make it down here to the stage? Okay. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Man, there's some good ones here. Okay. Wow. Well, we got more than one here to choose from. What do you think?
Go with this one.
Okay. There. Now what we're going to do here while Bryce is coming down, with your other piece of paper, Bryce here is going to tell you how to make this paper airplane right here. Okay? And Bryce, we got a hoodie for you for doing this right here. So everybody right here, Bryce, you go ahead and tell them how to make that.
All right.
Let's see where to turn the switches on
this
the
is
bottom.
on.
It's on. It's on. Okay.
Okay, so start with your, does everyone know what hot dog and hamburger folds are? So start with a hot dog fold.
Do you want me to hold that for you? To hold this.
Make sure it's equal. Line up the corners. Get it good. And then, once you get your hot dog fold, take it, I think most of your planes started out like this. Take one corner and fold it down so that a triangle is formed in the top right, and make another triangle in the top left. And just by raise of hand, how many of your planes started out like this, for my curiosity? About half, maybe more. Okay, the difference I did was I put a little more weight at the front. So once you have your triangle, choose a good spot, maybe a thumb width wide, and fold it down so it looks like this. Can everyone see that? So you've got it folded down, just the tip. All right. And once you do that, I want you to do the same thing you started with doing. Take the edge of your paper and fold it over again. I know this is extremely difficult. Never given instructions on a stage before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what you'll have is one folded over like that, and then the other wing folded in like this. How many can see this? About 20 more seconds. Once you get to this point, right here, I see some of you already there. We're going to take that hot dog fold. What we have is a long triangle, and you're going to make the wings. This is where you make your wings. So you're just going to fold it down to the bottom. Make it equal. Some people like to make them kind of level. You don't want a level wing. You want it to be able to have a streamlined shape so that the wings are they're exactly halfway folded between this point.
Okay.
How many have it? We're close? I think that's the best explanation I can give.
Perfect. Thank you. Now we've got you right over here. Now here's what we're going to do right now is let them fly again and come on down here. That's the rest of the demonstration. See how good you did. Let's fly those planes that Bryce described you on and throw them down here. See how good we go. Look at that. Check it out. Bryce, way to go, buddy. Let's have a hand for Bryce. Okay. Now, the point there is your employees have got the ideas, and we've got the best practices, and look at now how much better everybody did when we took that idea and ran with it, and that's what makes your company better. So my last point I'd like to make is do it better in the community. Get involved in your community in every way you can. Don't just be in your community to be a taker. You get in and you give back to your community. We have got a couple of things that we do real quick. We do a Big Coats for Kids event. We do a teacher who does it better. We give a car away, a Nissan Rogue away each year to the best teacher. We're big on education. We do a ride to Light Up Eureka in conjunction with Doug Wright, one of our good friends. And that's the ride. Last year was the first ride, and we got it coming up again. And there's our teacher who does it better. We have a wrap car, and we got first, second, third place with all kinds of prizes for school supplies. And I want to wrap up with where we're at today with our, this is our car show event right here. Well, that was last year's event. It's on Father's Day weekend up in Bountiful. And it was just a wonderful event. And we have a deal going with the Bountiful City Police. They were in a year ago prior, and they got a little heat from the members, the community members, that they didn't feel like they should be burning out their police cars. But the Highway Patrol called last year and said, hey, can we get in? I says, well, the Bountiful Police didn't want in because of that. He says, oh, don't worry about it, we'll take over. Well, they entered this contest, and part of our deal was the police go out and give a ticket to the winner as a exhibition on a city street. So it was a big crowd around there, and they gave the Highway Patrol a ticket for that, and they won the event hands down with that 900 horsepower Chrysler. So I wouldn't try to run from any of those. So in wrapping things up, where we
For
are
over
today,
21 years, Burt Brothers and Bridgestone have been honored to take care of Utah's tire and service needs. Bridgestone offers the highest quality and performance, all season, winter, and all-terrain tires. And at Burt Brothers, you know you'll always get the best in service and the lowest price guaranteed. Come experience the Burt Brothers and Bridgestone difference at one of our 7 convenient Wasatch Front locations.
Burt Brothers.
doing it better for 21 years.
Burt Brothers does it better.
So that was the family right there, and we have over 200 employees, and me and my brother Ron there in the center, and our boys around us there, and only one of our boys are managers. It's my wife and I's oldest boy, Jake, there on the left. The others are assistants and working up the ranks, and they got started in the business. We told them no one gets dropped on top of the mountain, and they started out sweeping floors and just working up, and all the discouragement we could give them to keep them out of the business, we couldn't do it, and they're all in there with us. So that's where we're at today, and I'm just grateful for this opportunity, and maybe it's time that we go ahead and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to have you see if there's questions and hopefully answers. Go ahead.
What do you think the best type of advertising has been for your business as far as radio, television?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, he says, what type of advertising is going to be the best for your business? And that changes over time as you have more money to deal with. Again, you're staying with that 5%. So in our one store, we're talking flyers and word of mouth, anything we can do locally, just try to do grassroots events around our store. You've got about a 5-10 mile radius is where we do business from around your stores. And you just work within that budget. You've got to just stay within that budget, the 5-10%. So we did a lot of flyers back then, database marketing to our existing customers, and we started to pick up a little bit of radio. So your media starts blanketing the whole area. You can't just target your one spot. So anything you can do to target around your store. Up there.
I need some new tires on my truck. You giving out any discounts today?
Absolutely. You come down here and get my card. I'll make it happen for you. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't need to, if I need to repeat that though, that's probably a good question to repeat. We are giving out discounts for tires, so come on down and get my card. Any, President?
How do you encourage employees to tell you how to fly a better airplane, and then how do you reward them?
Okay, good question, President. We,
Repeat the question.
he says, how do you encourage your employees to give you good feedback, and then how do you reward them? Well, it's, you know, the rewarding is you're always looking at annual interviews and pay increases and things like that, and they bring up those things, but we have regular meetings with our employees, and we tell them it's an open door policy. Call us anytime, talk to your manager, bring up an idea. We have completely overhauled our company from the inside out by just listening to the employees and taking their ideas as they're working things, and just continually updating your best practices. It's just a common thing. What do you think of this? Hey, let's try that. Let's give it a try, and encourage them to come up with these ideas. And I might say this, that stay in school, get your schooling handled, but then you've got to be ready to work. People say to me, it must be so great being in your own business. You know, it must be awesome just to have your own business. And I say, you know, it is awesome to be in my own business. I only have to work half a day. And they go, really? That's way cool. I said, yeah, I just have to decide whatever 12 hours that is. And that's what it takes, is hard work. And as I go out the door every morning, my wife's coined this phrase, I'll expect you when I see you. And so you have to have great support, and having her just taking care of everything and just push me out the door to make that happen. Is there any other questions? Okay, well, I just thank you so much for this opportunity. Appreciate it so much.
We sure appreciate your coming, and here's the token of our appreciation. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
very much.